Breaking news tonight. American B-52 bombers have been sighted flying off the coast of Venezuela in a powerful show of force ordered by President Donald Trump. The deployment marks one of the boldest U.S. military gestures in the region in decades, as tensions rise between Washington and Nicolás Maduro's embattled regime. Military officials confirm that the bombers, capable of carrying both conventional and nuclear payloads, were deployed to send an unmistakable message to the Venezuelan dictator. The move follows weeks of escalating friction and new reports that the White House has authorized covert intelligence activity aimed at destabilizing Maduro's grip on power. At the same time, U.S. naval forces have taken down another drug-running vessel linked to Venezuelan operations in the Caribbean. Analysts say the combined actions signal a turning point, a transition from quiet diplomacy to open deterrence. Moments after the bombers were spotted, President Trump addressed reporters outside the White House, delivering his sharpest warning yet to Nicolás Maduro. The president declared that Maduro has offered everything to avoid confrontation and added that the United States is not playing games. Strong words from a commander-in-chief who appears ready to back them with action. Inside Washington, the reaction was immediate. Lawmakers praised the president's bold stance. One congresswoman described it as a historic moment to free the Western Hemisphere from tyranny, applauding the administration's courage to confront the Maduro regime head-on. For years, the United States has denounced Venezuela's socialist government for starving its people, silencing dissent, and turning one of the world's richest oil nations into an economic wasteland. But few expected such a direct military display. The sight of American bombers over the Caribbean has electrified supporters of Venezuelan freedom and rattled the regime in Caracas. According to reports, President Trump's decision is part of a broader campaign blending military pressure, economic sanctions, and intelligence operations. Experts say it's a strategy designed to isolate Maduro completely and signal to his remaining allies that time is running out. A senior defense analyst explained that you don't move B-52s without purpose. The message is unmistakable. The United States is watching, capable, and prepared for any escalation. Inside Venezuela, radar systems have been activated along the coast, and the military has been placed on full alert. There are even reports that Russian personnel are evacuating from the country, an indication that confidence in Maduro's future is fading fast. Maduro, however, remains defiant. In a televised address, he vowed that Venezuela will never bow to what he called imperialist threats, insisting that his government would defend the homeland with honor. Yet behind the fiery words, intelligence suggests that cracks are forming within his ranks. Some of his own generals are rumored to be in secret contact with opposition figures, seeking safe passage should the government collapse. Meanwhile, on the ground, the CIA and U.S. Special Operations teams are coordinating with regional allies. Their mission is to gather intelligence, disrupt smuggling routes, and monitor communications within the regime. Military experts describe the current buildup as a 360-degree pressure campaign combining surveillance, cyber operations, and psychological tactics designed to erode the dictator's confidence and authority. American warships, including one nicknamed the Ghost, are now stationed throughout the Caribbean. 10% of a U.S. naval fleet is operating in or near Venezuelan waters, supported by reconnaissance aircraft, drones, and special forces units. Officially, these assets are conducting anti-narcotics missions. Unofficially, they stand as a visible warning to Maduro that his time may be running out. Intelligence sources describe the atmosphere in Caracas as tense and unpredictable, a regime under siege, uncertain of its next move. And while the world watches, an unexpected symbol of hope has emerged. The Nobel Peace Prize ceremony is approaching, and some are predicting that Maria Corina Machado could stand on that stage in Oslo, representing a free Venezuela. The date has become an unofficial deadline, a moment that could mark the rebirth of democracy for a nation long trapped in darkness. Economists say that a democratic Venezuela would quickly regain its place in global energy markets. With the world's largest oil reserves, a free and stable government could rebuild the nation's economy and restore prosperity to millions. But that future depends on one thing: the fall of the Maduro regime, whether through negotiation or surrender. As the world prepares for what may come next, U.S. forces remain on alert, ready to respond to any aggression. The bombers continue their patrols. The ships hold their positions. And the message from Washington remains unshaken. Freedom will not be intimidated. It is now a waiting game. Will Maduro flee, or will he fight? Will Venezuela emerge from the shadows of socialism and corruption, or descend into deeper chaos? No one can say for sure. But one truth stands above the rest. The people of Venezuela have not given up. Their courage has become the heartbeat of a hemisphere that still believes in liberty. Across the nation, doctors, teachers, and families are daring to dream again. A teacher in Caracas recently said, "For the first time in years, my students talk about the future again." Those words, simple yet powerful, reflect the spirit of a people who refuse to surrender. Opposition sources inside Venezuela confirm that communication channels remain open with the United States. Many within the Venezuelan military reportedly want a peaceful transition, provided their families are protected. Discussions are already taking place with neighboring nations about asylum for defectors and guarantees of safety after the regime falls. Inside Caracas, Maduro's government is tightening its grip, arresting suspected traitors, raiding neighborhoods, and spreading propaganda. But the fear that once kept people silent is slowly giving way to defiance. Citizens are tuning out state television, turning to underground radio, and risking arrest just to hear uncensored news. Tonight, in the streets of Caracas, people whisper that freedom may finally be close. For the first time in years, the voices of hope are louder than the voices of fear. Across Venezuela, chants of libertad echo through the night, rising above the sound of tear gas and sirens. The people are tired of hunger, corruption, and lies, and now they see a chance for change. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, speaking from hiding, has urged her followers to remain peaceful, saying that Venezuela will rise again through courage and unity. Around the world, that call is being heard. European governments have voiced support for a democratic transition, and several Latin American countries have pledged humanitarian aid once Maduro is gone. At the White House, senior officials continue to coordinate with allies. The administration says it stands firmly with the Venezuelan people and vows not to allow narco-dictatorships to threaten the hemisphere. The president's message is clear. The Western Hemisphere must remain free of tyranny. Still, the situation remains volatile. Military analysts warn that Maduro could retaliate by sabotaging oil facilities or unleashing loyal militias. Every hour counts. As this story unfolds, one thing is clear. The coming days will decide Venezuela's destiny. The choices made now will echo through generations. The world will remember this moment, the night when American bombers flew in defense of democracy, when courage faced tyranny, and when freedom's light began to break through the storm. We will continue to monitor this developing story as it evolves hour by hour. For now, this has been a special report on the growing crisis in Venezuela and the United States' bold response under President Donald Trump's leadership. This is Ridline Reports. Like this video and subscribe to my channel for the latest breaking stories from around the world.